Before I get to the historical timeline of Unix and Linux, I want to start by paying a tribute to all the persons behind it. I should remind you that Unix and Linux, in whatever form we see today, is a result of contributions of thousands of developers from the open source community. Some of these persons were pioneers in the field of computer science. But if I was asked to pick the top two people behind Unix, I would go with these two persons. Dennis Ritchie, who also happens to be the creator of the C programming language, and Ken Thompson. Both of them were working for Bell Laboratories. Next, we will start with a historical timeline of Unix. We start way back in 1950s. This was the age of the mainframes. What you see in the picture is an IBM 360 mainframe. So during this time period, each computer had its own operating software tailor-made for itself. If new hardware was designed, operating software had to be written specifically for it. Not a very rosy picture indeed. Let's move ahead to 1964. This was when the Multics project came into being. This is the Multics logo from back then. Multics was a team effort to create a flexible operating system. Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson were part of the team, both from Bell Labs. The team was constituted from a consortium of three companies: General Electric, Bell Labs, and MIT. Bell Labs later became a part of AT&T. Let's move ahead to 1970. In 1970, before Multics project was fully realized, Bell Labs pulled out. So Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson had moved out of Multics. But they continued to work on the concept while at Bell Labs and were joined in by Kernighan and Rob Pike as well from Bell Labs. In 1970, Kernighan came up with the official name Unix. It was intended as a pun for Multics. Here are pictures of four of them: Dennis Ritchie, Ken Thompson, Brian Kernighan, and Rob Pike. Let's move ahead to 1972. This is when an important development took place. The C language was born. Again, the man behind it was Dennis Ritchie. C was, is, and will probably remain the most powerful programming language ever. Let's move ahead by 1 year to 1973. Now, originally, Unix was written using assembly language. Now that the C programming language was available, the team at Bell Labs rewrote Unix using C. So Unix, as we see today, was written using C. That is the best testimony that the C programming language can get, isn't it? Now let's move further ahead. This is the late 1970s and the early 1980s. Bell Labs, which was AT&T by now, lost a lawsuit and they had to distribute Unix software to academic and research institutions. University of California, Berkeley was one such institution. UCB went on to develop their own flavor of Unix and named it BSD. BSD stands for Berkeley Standard Distribution. BSD added support for TCP/IP protocol in 1983 when DARPA came up with the ARPANET in 1983. ARPANET later on gave birth to the World Wide Web and the Internet as we know it today. In the years ahead, both AT&T and UCB kept building on their Unix versions in parallel. IBM came up with their own flavor, AIX, and HP came up with HP Unix, both based on the AT&T version of Unix. Sun Microsystems came up with their own flavor, Sun OS, which was based on the BSD version of Unix. Sun OS was later renamed to Solaris. Let's move further ahead. This is the late 1980s. The war between the different versions of Unix continued. The Unix version that belonged to AT&T changed hands many times. AT&T had sold it off to Novell. It again changed hands and went to the Open Group, which is an industry consortium of technology companies. The last Unix release was System 5, Release 5 in 1997. As of today, the Unix trademark is owned by the Open Group. This is the Unix trademark. This pretty much sums up the history of Unix. Now, another important development took place in 1991. This was when Linux came into the picture. Now that we have looked at the Unix timeline, let's look at the timeline of Linux too in a similar way. This is the picture of Linus Torvalds. He is the man behind Linux. Linus Torvalds was a student at the University of Helsinki. Torvalds started writing Linux as a personal project in 1991. He was only 21 years of age then. Can you believe it? Let's move ahead to 1994. This was a letter that Linus Torvalds posted in a popular Usenet news group back then. Go ahead and pause this video and read the letter. It is fun to read. You will get to know how Linux started in such a humble and modest way. Now this caught up fast with the developer community. Contributions started pouring in. In 1994, Linus believed that a certain level of maturity was attained for the kernel. So it was released as Linux 1.0 under GNU General Public License. Just a brief side note here. If you talk about GNU, you can't do without talking about this man, Richard Stallman. GNU General Public License was the brainchild of Richard Stallman. You can see the GNU logo by his side. Richard Stallman is also known as the man behind the Free Software Foundation. Let's move ahead to 1996. Something interesting happened here. The Linux mascot, Tux, was born. Here is a picture of the Tux penguin. Tux stands for Torvalds Unix. The picture at the side tells you an interesting story in Linus Torvalds' life about how this mascot was inspired from a childhood experience that Linus Torvalds had with a penguin in Australia. It's fun to read, so go ahead and pause the video and read it if you have time. Let's move ahead to 2000s and beyond and up to the present. This was the age of the Linux distros. Distro is a shorthand for distribution. There are hundreds of Linux distros available in the market today. You can see the logos of some of the most popular distros in the market today: Debian, SUSE, Red Hat, CentOS, Ubuntu. And distrowatch.com is a pretty cool website. You can find all the information on pretty much any Linux distro on this website. With this, we have come to the end of this presentation on the history of Unix and Linux. I had great fun putting together this history presentation for you. I hope you had as much fun watching this. That's it for this session, and I'll see you in the next one.